So good morning, participants. This is our third week to this SAIP 2020. This week's module name is Introduction to Plant Technology. I am the module leader, Abhinav, and I will accompanied by Dr. Roma and Dr. Nitin, and one external expert in this week. This whole week, you will get an idea about the plant technology and the plant actually the tissue culture technologies and technologies. Another thing is that it is one of the best method nowadays because in a very low input you can get a very high output, and it can be a good career for a budding plant technologist or a plant scientist. So I start my lecture with introduction part. Here you can get some idea, and as time passes you will be get to know all the pros and cons of this plant tissue culture and related techniques. uh, at the end of the week, I will try to give you some glimpses how to start a small industry which is related to plant tissue culture techniques. Because I feel as a plant tissue culture specialist, I feel that this is a virgin area in our country where where a young guy, when a young mind can make his career and earn a lot of money. Fine. So I'm going to share screen. Yeah, this is screen. So the first lecture is Introduction and History of Plant Tissue Culture Techniques. Uh, the conventional breeding method are the most widely used for crop improvement. But in certain situations, these methods have the supplemented with plant tissue culture techniques, either to increase their efficiency or to be able to achieve the objective, which is not possible through the conventional methods. I am just giving you one example, like production of pure lines. If we go through a conventional breeding method, it will take several years to complete it. But if you follow the plant tissue culture methods, we generally save 4 to 6 years, and we get the pure lines as many numbers as we can. Another one is development of a certain trait inside plant. If we follow the general conventional methods, it generally takes 10 years or 20 years to generate one stable trait inside a plant system. But a tissue culture technique coupled with genetic engineering, we can generate and we can commercialize a plant in less than 7 years. So this is the power of this technology. So the jump tissue culture is commonly used in a wide sense to include in vitro culture of plant cells, tissues, as well as organs. But in a strict sense, this tissue culture denotes in vitro cultivation of plant cells in an unorganized mass. This unorganized mass is called callus culture. There is another term called cell culture, which is used for in vitro culture of single or a relatively small group of plant cells. Example is suspension culture. So in general, the term tissue culture is applied to both callus and suspension culture. Fine. So this is a brief idea about the tissue culture. In this slide, you could see that I have divided the tissue culture into both plant and tissue culture. But the prerequisites for both the culture is control environment and nutrient media. This both are the most important parameter for this technique. So the plant tissue culture, it refers to the cultivation of a plant cell, which normally forms a multicellular tissue. And this technique actually solved two basic problems. The first one is micro-free plant. This tissue culture technique actually generate micro-free plant because the whole system is set for the same, and to ensure the desired development in cells and organs by providing them suitable nutrient media. This selection of nutrient media is one of the most important part of this whole tissue culture. And believe me, friends, it took more than 50 years to develop a suitable nutrient media for plant. So I am going to sum up the advantages of tissue culture in the start of this lecture. Availability of raw material. You know, nowadays in our country, there are n numbers of plant-based industries which consistently need availability of raw material. I am giving you an example of Google. This Google is a plant which is grown in some specific environment and for a specific time period. And this Google is widely used in all the plant industries, either it's Dabur or it's Patanjali. So this plant tissue culture technique give them an idea, give them an domain for the continuous supply of this raw material. And the new methods of isolation. You can express some plant material, you can express some compound inside a plant, and you can check the application, you can check the efficacy of that particular compound. So this is a new method which is being widely used all over the world. And the extension of this work is biotransformation. You know, some of you might know about the combinatorial chemistry. It is a branch of science where use of bioinformatics, with the help of this application, some hypothetical or virtual compounds is being made. And this virtual compound is then synthesized inside some laboratory, but it can't be directly applied to human or any kind of, commercial thing. So to know the function of that particular new compound or a new functional group, this is being incorporated into plants. With the help of this plant tissue culture, the plants are grown. And once the plants are grown, they are again analyzed with the help of chemical techniques, chemistry techniques, and the function is known. And if it is satisfactory, it can be further used. It can be further used in humans or animal system. Immobilization of cell is one of the most important one of the most important advantages of this plant tissue culture. Fine. So this tissue culture can be used for plant preservation by immobilization or entrapment of cell, further facilitating transportation and biotransformation. I am asking you, I am just summing up my argument with this, that if some very important plant is grown in Himalaya or in Rajasthan, if you want to grow that Himalayan jadi booty into Rajasthan. Is it possible? No, it is not possible. You have to create that suitable environment so that that particular jadi booty or that particular weed is grown there in the Rajasthan. You need tissue culture, and how you will take that cell from Himalaya to Rajasthan, you need this immobilization of cells. Fine. So it serves both the purpose, transportation as well as growth. Fine. So it is serving the society in variety of ways. Uh, Several medicinally important compound is synthesized. I have already discussed it. Improvement of medicinal plant species. This is one of the most important aspect, because nowadays there are so many contact based problems are running across the globe. And you know, in the world of plant, there are treatments are available, but that treatments are limited. Fine. So you can change that available plant into a potent medicine. So you can couple the idea of biotransformation and plant tissue culture. Fine. Suitable hypothetical compound expressed inside the plant, which is already shown some promises against that contact disease. So this whole set will make the newer variety of plant a very applicative thing against that particular disease. So there are some disadvantages of plant tissue culture also. I have listed some of them, a few of them. In my view, there are only two disadvantages. The first one is expertise. Very high level of expertise is required to run a plant tissue culture lab. Fine. And the second one is media. As I said, that media, that nutrient media is one of the most important domain for plant tissue culture. And to develop a particular plant, you need to change the media, to improve the media, or you need the different concentration of hormones in a different sets, different ratio. So it actually increases the cost initially, but once it is optimized, it is easy to grow that particular species in a bulk manner. Fine. Sometimes I have also observed the slow growth rate of a plant tissue culture grown plant, and sometimes it is difficult to rectify that due to which factor this growth is being slowed. It is really difficult for any researcher to rectify all on a sudden. So these are some of the major disadvantages. The another disadvantages is more technical, like problem of even aeration. If you go for suspension culture, like if you go for a semi-solid material, it is easy because there is no need of aeration. But if you go for a suspension culture or a liquid media, you always need aeration. So this is one of the major technical problem when you go for a plant tissue culture technique. Now I'm coming to the historical development of plant tissue culture. It starts with the early 20th century when Haberland proposed concept of in vitro cell culture, and he is also considered as the father of plant tissue culture. And the 1926 discovery of Wendt of indole acetic acid has actually given the power to the plant tissue culture technique, because they have actually discovered the first plant growth hormone, that IAA. After then, several plant growth hormones are being discovered and used for plant tissue culture. And the breakthrough will come in 1962. Before that, again, hormonal control of organ formation. And as a plant tissue culturist, you will come to know that how this ratio of auxin and cytokinin help in the generation or regeneration of a particular organ. The main breakthrough which comes in 1962, where Murasige and Scoop, they developed MS media. Here I am going to elaborate. A plant is grown in a soil. Why? ये एक तख्ते पे क्यों नहीं ग्रो कर जाता है, या एक आयरन के सरफेस पे ग्रो क्यों नहीं करता है? No, it will not, because the soil gives him adequate amount of all the necessary nutrients in the form of ions, so that it can grow. Murasige and Skoog, they have selectively studied that yes, the plant needs which kind of nutrient, and they have actually adjusted these nutrients in the form of chemical, and they accumulate it at one place. And with the help of agar, they have developed a formula so that a general plant can grow in a controlled condition. I am always using the word controlled condition, and why I'm using this controlled condition in the latter slides you will come to know. So this was the main breakthrough in plant tissue culture technique, and this media we are using everywhere, in industry, in research laboratory, everywhere this MS media is being used. And there are several variations of MS media also available. And in 1962, in the same year, Kanta and Maheshwari of Delhi University, they have developed testive fertilization technique. This was also a breakthrough in this plant tissue culture domain. And 1966, you know, even a single cell of a plant can give rise to the whole plant. And why? Why don't humans, why don't these animals can grow in a media? Because we don't have that totipotency, that is regeneration of the whole system from a single cell. Fine. So this is also one of the major discoveries in plant tissue culture, that totipotency, that Stewart actually demonstrated this concept. What are the basic requirements of plant tissue culture? If it is plant tissue culture, then plant material, obviously we need general equipments, glassware, aseptic condition, washing and storage facility, and one sterilization room. Fine. Transfer, racks, and this is also a very important requisites. I mean, say a need for needs subculturing, and in some cases, 21 days. Subculturing means from one media to another, or transfer to a new media is subculturing. After some days, this MS media, because the plant always exhausting, I mean, taking the nutrients from the MS media, and after some time, the power of that media becomes obsolete. So after some days, you need to transfer the newly generated plant to another similar media or a modified media. Fine. So these are some of the basic requirements of plant tissue culture. So I'm just briefing one by one plant material. I mean, it should be disease free, may not be very old, because an older tissue have a less regeneration capacity. Fine. And healthy plants are needed. Sometimes seeds are also used as a plant material. Equipment and glassware all should be sterilized and autoclaved, and before the use it should be in room temperature condition. It should not be like just take out from the autoclave machine and start using tissue culture. This is not permitted. Hot air oven, uh, microscope, pH meter, washing up the equipments. Washing facilities is actually for glasswares. Pipettes are like washed with the help of 70% ethanol. Fine. Polypropylene, standard siphon type pipette washer is suitable for washing the pipette soaked in detergent for overnight. The washed pipette should be rinsed with deionized water and dried in a stainless steel pipette dryer. This is a specific requirement for pipettes. You know, pipettes are very costly, and you need it in a very, um, error-free. If you need 1 microliter, then it should be 1 microliter. It should be 1.5 or 2 microliters. Centrifugation machine. This is needed to increase the concentration. Water purifier. Pure water is needed. In our lab, we are using double distilled water. In some labs, there are use of RO water. Fine. So these are some of the shaker. You need shaker. Shaking is one of the most, it is a necessary prerequisites to. I have suspension culture or liquid culture. If you inoculate some cell inside, you have to wait till it reaches in actively dividing stage. Fine, inside a shaker. In some given condition, maybe you have to put inside in 25 degrees centigrade or 30 or 35, 37. Depends upon the material which you are using. So shaker is being used and it rotates in 100, 120 or 220 RPM. It actually, to all the surface of the cell, it actually increases the efficiency of that particular tissue or cell. Ultimately, the OD of the cell start increasing. OD means it gives the idea of concentration, and the newly dividing cell will start appearing in the whole media. And with the help of this actively dividing cell, the other process are now easy. The in the liquid media, the growth of a cell, fine, you have to be cautious to the death stage. So before the death stage or before the exponential phase, they are taking out from the media and shift to the or transfer to another media. So this is how the maintenance of the active cells is being maintained, and it is further used to grow that particular tissue or that particular plant. Balance is required all the time, because if you prepare a media, you need to be very cautious, because each and every component is very much uh, defined, that how much weight you have to take. Fine. Glasswares, culture vessels, These are some general things like scissor, scalpel, forceps, uh, non-absorbent cotton plugs, screw cup. These all things are required. Even the aluminum foil, a saran wrap, microwave. These are required to start a tissue culture. The aseptic condition, in my initial lectures, I have elaborated the aseptic conditions. The plant material, equipments, culture media, and the room should be free from microorganism, because if microorganism is there, their division speed and their growth rate is much more higher than plant. So it will contaminate your whole set of culture and you will get nothing. So it should be free from microbes. So because the whole set is big, you can't use uh, any bigger filter or any such uh, costly items. So generally we use dry heat. Wet heat in the form of autoclaving machine. For hormones and antibiotics, we use ultrafiltration and chemicals, etc. for sterilization processes. You know, the start material, that is the plant material. It can be seed, it can be leaf, it can be stem, and in some cases, fruits are also used as a start material for plant tissue culture. But you know, if you take it from outside, is it free from microbe? No, it is not, because it is in consistent attack with bacteria, with fungus, with so many viruses. So this is first sterilized, and this sterilization is especially called surface sterilization. There are several steps and there are a number of chemicals which is being used for surface sterilization process. One is calcium hypochlorite, sodium hypochlorite, H2O2, uh, mercury chloride, chlorine water, and in some cases absolute alcohol, or generally we use a combination of 2 or 3. uh, I mean, absolute, it's not like you just take it, the tissue from outside and use directly absolute alcohol. No, this sterilization process itself is a lengthy process. If if it is a wood material or if it is a hard tissue, if it is a softer tissue like leaf, we directly go for uh, tap water for some minutes, say 5 to 10 minutes. Then we take it out. Then we go for sterilization with the help of double distilled water, and we take it out. After them, the rest of the process, we use laminar flow. There we use 70% ethanol, then mercury chloride for some seconds. You know, mercury chloride is a very corrosive agent, and in case some bacteria or fungus are left on the leaf surface, they just destroy that microbe or fungus, any kind. Fine. Then we go for 100% ethanol for few seconds. Then we again wash it and dry. Then we use. Fine. That's why I have said in my previous slides that expertise is required, and expertise in in the eyes of some authors, this is disadvantage, and for me it is an advantage because it creates patience inside you. Fine. So for dry heat method, we use hot air oven. Fine. Wet heat method, glassware culture are, wet heat, we use autoclaving for 15 to 25 minutes. And ultrafiltration is used for sterilization of liquid media. Antibiotic, you know, antibiotic are very much important, because if you go for initial tissue culture method, you don't know that even this sterilization method, that initially you have used the surface sterilization method, maybe there is a chance of some bacteria, because bacteria are very tiny molecule. There is a chance that some percentage, some titer is left, or even if you autoclave the media, there is a chance that some endospore is being left, because you know that endospore can survive higher temperature. That's why for tissue culture methods, we also use different antibiotics like ampicillin, kanamycin, hygromycin, gentamicin, streptomycin. There are more than 20 antibiotics which is used for plant tissue culture methods. We use one antibiotic or a combination of two or three. It depends. So washing and storage facilities should be there. I mean, you can't start any tissue culture work in an area where there is no washing or storage facilities. There should be constant and consistent freshwater supply, and disposable of wastewater facility should be available. And space for distillation unit should be there. Working table, sink, wash basin, and sufficient space is required for hot air oven. Fine. And if there is a separate media preparation room, it is very, very good, and it is very much required for a efficient plant tissue culture experiments. And media, I mean, nutrient media. The media is like, it composed of inorganic, organic, everything. Inorganic nutrients, we can again divide into macronutrient and micronutrient. Macronutrient and micronutrient both are important. Don't go by name. Macro, because it needs in higher concentration, and micronutrients, it needs in smaller concentration. How many macronutrients are there? You just remember CHONPS, CAKMG. How many of them? There are 9 macronutrients, and there are few micronutrients. I have listed here some like boron, copper, iron, manganese, zinc, etc. If macronutrients are not available, sometimes plant fail to grow. But if micronutrients are not available, it will start displaying distorted leaf, mosaics. It seems like it is not healthy. Fine. So a perfect balance of macronutrient and micronutrient, both are required. Organic substances, which includes vitamins, amino acids, carbon sources like glucose or maltose, and also this glucose, maltose, and other, they also acts as a energy provider. Fine. There are other media substances like protein hydrolysates, yeast extract. If in some media yeast extract is given, it is undefined media. Fine, just remember this. I'm just telling you because in some interviews they can ask that about the defined and undefined media, and you can quote the example of yeast extract there. Fine, coconut milk, there must be some solidifying agents, and that solidifying agent in your laboratory practices are agar. In some cases it is alginates. Fine. And EDTA as a chelating agent, antibiotics. And yes, the pH is very much important. The the pH should be between 5.6 to 6, or more specifically, it is between 5.6 to 5.8. If this pH is not maintained, the media fails to solidify, and I have seen it practically. If it is 5, I mean acidic, or if it is highly alkaline, the whole media will not settle down, it is not polymerized. So this range of pH should be maintained all the time. And transfer room, I mean, there should be hood, there should be racks, fine. Culture rooms and incubator, there is high, this culture room should be very, it should maintain the controlled condition. Now I am again telling you controlled condition. Controlled condition means a specific temperature range, generally 25 degrees centigrade, or maybe 1-2 degree higher or lower. It is maintained. Fine. 16 hours of light and 8 hours of dark. That is 16 by 8. Dark, light by light period and dark period should be maintained. And humidity, there should be not a relative humidity of 70 to 78% should be maintained. Fine. And a uniform air circulation thing, and aeration. I have already said that for submerged culture or liquid culture, this proper and optimum aeration is very much required. And well equipped recording area. Fine. I'm just telling you that if you want to publish something through the tissue culture, you have to take pictures and you have to keep record of each and every steps and in proper DPI. Fine. So these are the basic methodology and techniques of plant tissue culture, like preparation of suitable, step by step, like preparation of suitable nutrient media, selection of explant, sterilization, inoculation, incubation, then regeneration, hardening, and plant transfer. That I will cover in my next lecture in an elaborate manner. So this is a diagrammatic representation where from the field is taken, it is washed, fine, this control condition, because you know that there is a shelf life or a life of any media. So you need to subculture in proper interval, then rooting, and after the roots you have to take it out from the test tube and you have to put inside a greenhouse, because these plants which is taken out from the tissue culture room, it's like baby from ICU. So you need to properly take care of this plant till they grow in a at their at some stages. Fine. Then only they are transferred to the field to check their efficacy and whatever the objectives you have to take it. So this is how selection, preparation of explant. These are the actual pictures which is taken, some from our labs and some from internet. These are a laminar airflow, the tissue culture racks. This is how a plant tissue culture method is being run in a laboratory.